I have a request to close your eyes, and I'm going to take you to another country, another language, and I want you to listen to the music of it, okay? This is a poem that every child in Hungary had to memorize. Már egy hete csak a mamára gondolok, mindig megállva. Nyikorgó kosárral ment a padlásra, ment serényre. Én még őszinte ember voltam, ordítottam, toporzékoltam. Hagyja a dagad ruhát másra, engem vigyen a padlásra, de ő csak ment, s teregetett némán. Nem is szidott, nem is nézett én rám, s a ruhák fényesen suhogva keringtek, szálltak a magosba. So far, you can open your eyes now. This book is about 40 years in the making. I just kept writing poems and putting them in boxes. So now it's in a book format. This one is called Found Echoes. The forest is within her sight. The meadow holds her hostage. A cantor, she sings in circles. Her hymns rise to a straight line. She has no desire, no determination to go anywhere. She's wandering. The field opens to her, entangling grass to sky. She is nowhere in the everywhere. The echo, the originator into oneness of millions of stars. How can she not go into madness, the comforter, the choice? The evening collapses, the dreams spread through her eyes. Her mouth deafens thunders. She prays as she climbs the lightning zigzag. She's every woman. What is it to touch down on the wild side of herself? Who lives there? What grows well? Old woman, her flailing hands reaching the sky. Words unattached from her mouth. She walks as she prays, repeating, reinventing the chaos. She lives on the outside of her dreams. I should have put bookmarks in here. What's the matter with me? Okay, that one escaped me. So here we go. Here's the other one. April 2nd. I wrote a lot of poems in April. I don't know what's wrong with me. Friends. The train ride from Paris to Le Havre, unmemorable. The expectations of the ocean crossing, enormous. The expectation to seeing my father after 8 years of separation, indescribable. SS America was the name of the ocean liner we were embarking to arrive in New York City, America, leaving Budapest and grandparents behind. I had never seen the ocean before. I had never even seen a large body of water except Lake Balaton, which we call our ocean in a country the size of Indiana. The boarding of the ocean liner chaotic, the photographer caught our picture like frightened birds, steps down to our minuscule cabin, suffocating, the window to the outside, round and small. Breathe. Mother tried to keep us close at all times, but my sister and I were ready to explore. Off we went. Without words, we expressed sides of everything unfamiliar, holding our breath and each other's hands, the harbor still within reach. In the middle of the night, the ocean liner left the continent, leaving all we knew behind. Before breakfast, we walked out to see the ocean, holding each other's hands, forever, breathtaking, limitless, endless blue sky, frightening, paralyzing. Speechless, we stood by the railing, holding our breath in each other's hands, leaving Budapest and grandparents behind, silence in our hearts, endlessly, The sound of waves reached and sealed, unknowing, no turning back. Does that mean it's good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is a good one. An elderly gentleman. It has a title. Wow. April 7th. Yeah, something with April. Okay. April 7th. A Thursday morning, the bookstore half asleep. The first customer reached the counter and smiled, a bird-like man, eyes friendly and knowing. He accepted my greeting and began to dance. His steps furtive as he hurried along the parquet floor. He seemed to remember that books had importance in his life. Author names escaped him, but he knows he wanted a book. Several times he returned to breathe the air of books, to be among friends, to try again. His face was shaven, the clumps of hair remained at places around his lips and neck to remind me that he lived alone. His jacket striped, his slacks of an unmatching pattern, the tie and the shirt a cacophony that witnessed the silence about him. An elderly gentleman broke my heart today. I kept thinking of my father in his last 6 months of life, when he still made an effort to be himself, to take care of his own business, half successful, half forgotten. It did not matter after that because mother was there to ease him into himself. The smiles and the efforts then and now to do and be moved stones around my heart. I tried to engage him in conversation, but he knew and remembered that he was not himself. Irate at me and at his inability to remember what he wanted, he remembered to be frustrated. As he left me, standing in the bookstore aching for something I had not yet recalled. That was good. On that note, oh, somebody got a message. Elongated shadows of the sun make love to the earth, my mother, the sun, my father. Hidden lumps of dreams forgotten. Mother, do not give them up. He will warm you anywhere, anyway. Sun and earth, my parents. I am of the universe. Clouds are my dreams. The sky is my mind. The waters are my tears. Your cars speeding south, I-91, Connecticut Turnpike are my children of mutated technology. My wounds are your wars, the flowers among my hair, so soft, sway. When the wind blows, when I whisper in your dreams, earth, my mother, sun, my father, do not give up your dreams. Is that my nose that's making that sound? This is my favorite. Grandpa Henry. His name was really Imre Lajos, but Henry is his last name. Grandfather always whistled a particular hymn when he wanted us to help in the garden. The first tomato, luscious red. The first yellow pepper, a breath of angel hair. Canary yellow behind his back, the sun, he stood proud. The first fruit or berry is always his gift to us. We run and like birds in the nest, behold the lingonberries, the plums, quinces that bring forth water. Without words, grandfather would reach out, delighted, while we picked. He would be telling a story. My sister and I would sit in deep green grass under the willows surrounded by peepers. From under his reddish mustache, words would escape, intoxicating me in his garden. I ate his words and the berries and had no fear. They like all of them. How long did I have? Craggy Gardens. Inducted. The beginning needed eyes, a moon, swinging space, and 4 branches. When your body was added, it made life a newness for each day, 4 moments to spark the moon, to sing lullabies for you, just for you. The bear steps on the branches, crushing them, its fur darkly deep, the breath racing from its snout. I do not run away, I stand still, too invisible to see a beginning. The bear majestically rises above the horizon, its eyes stars, black as coal. The cold wind disfigures my head, shrinking as the sky falls away. I am on top of the world. It is craggy garden at full moon. Above everything I stand. The cloud filled the crevices below me, passing time. This makes me nervous. The deer in touch, soft brown eyes, so moist are the lips. Above the ground, erect, alert to the silence in the night. The deer in touch with the meadow knows all silences and rustles. The quiet air lingers. One alerting sound from miles. The deer will spring forth, losing track of time, into safe distance. Silence she will take. This one is called About the Night That Goes Deeply. It is a Wednesday day. Kate Wolf ballad smoothed the day. I recall you being stopped by her voice in a song that's called you to mind. I held you in my sight, listened to you whispering the song contralto. I am amazed, elated, and surrounded by your sound. A memory of the night pulling us into each other, so wanting, so full and open. Baby, you saw, come here, I know. Now even I learned you and myself, times graces us with never felt experiencer. Hold me tongue-tied. A moment and I'm into infinity in the palm of your hand. I cry to ease this joy-spurting madness of this wanting you, frequently forever. Deep where the stars fall, there is no resistance. The light is everlasting, the knowing endless. It is there that I stood in front of you, naked to the soul, but you resisted. I held my breath and prayed for your awakening. I looked to the right, then left. I swallowed myself in order to know the truth. Thank you.
And we're from Glenis Redmond, Song of Everything. You're welcome.
I know it makes her feel uncomfortable, but can we give Emöke another round of applause? She's winner a walk. But she got one anyway. Oh, did you? I did too. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It is so wonderful to see new faces and faces so endearing, and we go way, way back, and I won't tell you how far we go back. But I'm going to read for 20 minutes, but I just want to say a couple of things before I read. Number one, Malaprops is a blessing.
Amen.
Blessed my life 30 years ago when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and I was leaving the counseling field, and Malaprops was the bookstore down in Greenville, South Carolina, and I picked up The Artist's Way and it changed my life. And Malaprops has always been an oracle for me. I come in here and books just fall off the shelves and I just follow the path. So I want to say thank you to Emöke.
Yes.
Thank you. You have changed so many lives.
Yes, indeed.
And I want to say thank you to the staff, Stephanie and Patricia, and everyone who had a hand in this event. I don't take it lightly when I come here, and I love any excuse to come up the mountain. I want to thank my publisher, Liv Ramos. She is the one who, this book came into being through her. It's the Song of Everything, but the smaller words are a poet's exploration of the South Carolina state parks. So I was not aiming to write this book. I was writing 2 other books but I had a bout with cancer. Many of you know, 2019, I was diagnosed with stage 3 multiple myeloma, and then COVID hit. And I was also caretaking my grandson, Julian. And you know, like many of us during the pandemic, the walls started to, and I intuitively knew that we needed to get outside. We needed to go to the parks, and the parks were our respite. And I'm just so happy that I was able to follow that path. And I would post me and Julian at different parks. And then I would say, oh, I'm writing a poem for each park. And then Lib saw that on Instagram. Lots happens on Instagram. And she said, do you really want to do that? I can make that happen. And this is how this book, a wonderful synchronicity. And I'm so glad she was listening. And it's been a joy to write this small pocket book. Okay, I am gonna keep track of time if y'all don't mind, because I'm bad. You know, I will read and read and read. Here we go. 2 minutes. So also I wrote this book just thinking out, oh, this is just going to be a nature book. I can go out into the world and frolic and be healed by nature. And then of course my mother was telling me about, my mother and father graduated from Fountain Inn Color High School in 1954. It's in the name. And so she was saying, oh, we went for our senior trip. We went to Paris Mountain State Park. Anybody been to Paris Mountain State Park? It's beautiful, you should go. But I did the research and I told my mom, you couldn't have gone to Paris Mountain State Park. Why?
Black.
It was segregated. She's black. And so I had to deliver the news, Mom, you guys went to Pleasant Ridge. And so, of course, every time I turn, you know, there's a rock to discover, you know. I can't talk to you right now. And so as many things, my mother has always been kind of the leading the charge. She's never written a poem, but she's her lifestyle is very creative, and we have these very synchronistic, graceful moments, and I try to keep track. So the book is smaller, the poems are smaller than what you're used to hearing my voice. So most of the poems in the book are kwansabas. Does it sound like a word that you know? No, doesn't sound like kwansaba?
Sounds good though.
Yeah, sounds good. But what else sounds like kwansaba? Who said it? Cantata. That's nice, but it's cool. But think about the African American celebration after Christmas. What do we call it? Kwanzaa, and it's first fruits. And so Dr. Eugene Redmond invented this African American form, Kwansaba, which relates. It's a 7-line 7 lines in a poem, no word over 7 syllables, except for you can cheat with the proper noun. So you'll hear, I thought it was, so having this African-American lens on the landscape, I thought would be a powerful way to look at the landscape. So Julian and I have been to 27 state parks. There's 47, so we still have, many to go. So there will be a part 2. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The first one is called Start Here at Paris Mountain State Park. I learned I had stage 3 cancer. I wanted to be among living things. Doctors didn't order nature as a cure. My lungs long for crisp, clean, clear air. My face wanted to feel the sun. I traveled to Paris Mountain, that is. Each blade of grass helps me fight. The next one I'm going to read is called Head in the Clouds. Most of the poems are written for a park, and then some aren't written for a park. So I will name the park, and I encourage you to go. This is Head in the Clouds, and I'm a military brat, Air Force brat. So I lived in 12 different homes by the time I was 12. Head in the Clouds at Carter Lake Elementary. My 3rd grade teacher droned on. If it was not a game of 7-Up or Around the World or story time, you'd find me in a pose for picture day. Chin resting on my 2 fists, amber eyes gazing out the window at the maple or the oak or a sparrow. They asked me to join their dance. I never turned down an invitation to move. I became the wind, a gale. My dress flounced and I twirled under the blue dome sky. My daydream drifts on as I shapeshift into the clouds. My teacher interrupts. Glenis, are you paying attention? I answer, yes. Always yes. I, already a poet, taking note. And so the poems go from, intense to playful in the book, which is nice for me because I tend to go for the heavy. And this book I felt liberty to go back and forth. Horseshoe Falls. I need to take my glasses off so I can see. I'm at that age, glasses don't work on or off, I'm just bumbling around, okay? So this one is to Musgrove Mill Historic Battlefield. And so here's what I thought. Julian and I looked at the map of the parks we went to. We went to the mountain parks, and then we went to the ocean parks. And then the ones in between, we did not care. But I was mistaken because I went to Musgrove Mill Historic Battlefield during the holidays, and it was 32 degrees, which is cold for me, y'all. I'm Black. And I don't really do cold that well, we just don't. My lineage is, Nigeria and Cameroon. And, but I went on a crisp day and I bundled up like I knew how to do, and I had the most wonderful experience. And if you follow me on Instagram, there is a picture, if you go down and look, there's a picture of me holding a musket, because the guy there said, we have muskets, you want to hold them? I'm like, sure. So, but this is the moment I had there. Horseshoe Fall. The waterfall filled me up. The brisk air stood me still. The heron caught my eye and my awe as its light blue-gray body lifted in flight. The bird call of the marsh wren, the black and white warbler, the American kestrel, the crow, and the cowbird called out in song. The sun beamed, the rays greeted me, the rays touched my face as I turned it up to the sun. I felt a presence in this present moment, knew there's nowhere but here. So this goes back in relating to my mom. Even in nature, the color lines were drawn back then. Schools too, it's held in the name. Fountain Inn Colored High School. My parents' alma mater, Bulldogs, last class, 1954. Mama recalls, we went to Paris Mountain for our senior trip. I research, I correct her. You went to Pleasant Ridge. How yesterday holds today. At Paris Mountain State Park, blue skies above the trail, blue skies above, the trail below, we two go, not just for us. At Lake Placid, we sit. I wonder about elders and ancestors who could not grace these grounds before. Laws, whites only. My grandson's hand in mine, a circle. As they hover, the past is present. So coming across that there, Pleasant Ridge is no longer a state park, it's now a county park. But lo and behold, as I was doing the research, I found out that the first Black superintendent of parks was at Pleasant Ridge, and his name was Leroy Smith. And there will be more poems about Leroy. I was so pleasantly pleased to find him. He was a Boy Scout master, and from Lawrence, which is, you know, about almost an hour from where the park is now. And when they selected him, him and his wife moved to the grounds, and they lived there their whole lives. So tribute for Leroy Smith. We all should know your name. As you stood at the helm, you created spaces for us when there were none. Call this tribute a torch. Let these words of praise keep your memory alive. Let those who walk this path feel the fire of the trail you blazed. Also for Leroy Smith, at the helm. Knowing that you called it your park makes me feel that I knew you. Your arms broad like your huge heart wraps around the expanse of the land. You came as one, but you stood for the many. For us to gather, even now, we're held by your embrace. So there's the poem on the back, there's a poem on the back, but it's also in the book too. This is the poem I was trying to talk to my grandson, and I talked to my grandson in several of these poems, and I'll read a few that relate to him. But this one is, This Is How We Do It. And there, you know, there's an old 90s song, this is how we do it. You know, okay. So, all right, if I could sing, I would sing it for y'all, but I can't. So, but I thought it was fitting. I was either even that or inheritance. And then This Is How We Do It felt more playful. For Julian. We are from call and response ways. Get in where you fit in. We read between each and every fine line of wind, river, insect, hum, and buzz. The give and take dance, an offering. We live, we glide, stride and step in sync with the song of everything. So this one is called Who's Leading Who? At Caesar's Head, we amble up the, everybody been to Caesar's Head? Yeah, go if you haven't, go. I am saying go, all right, go. I'm not getting no kickbacks. I'm just saying it would be good for you, okay? At Caesar's Head, we amble up the path to the lookout. We peer at the bluest eye of the sky and at the other, the lake. We take in the emerald mountain peaks. We stare into the pearl tufted clouds. Julian's wow makes this a moment. On the granite knees, I am a giddy Gaga. He turns and points to a sign, Devil's Kitchen. I am dubious about the name. I am dubious about the descent. Come on, Gaga, let's go. He forges ahead and I follow, but I don't want to taste anything that the devil has brewed. But I link my doubts to his little boy's curiosity. I take a breath. We walk down the metal stairs, and in between two slabs of cold rock, the dark and the damp cradle us. We merge on the other side. Our smiles brighter than the daylight that greets us. So I think I can do 3 more. One is a song, which I'm going to skip. I'm not going to do it because it makes me, I have to sing. Yeah. Y'all want to sing?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all made me nervous now. See if I can find it. Oh, it just disappeared. I can't do it. It's not in the book. Okay. Where is it at? Woman's song. Lib, you probably know where it is. Oh yeah, there it is, 31. I was forgetting it on purpose. So there is at the Hampton Plantation Historic Site, you know, there's a lot of weighted history in South Carolina, North Carolina, everywhere, right? This plantation, Hampton Historic Site, I was coming from a different reading around a Harriet Tubman statue that's been traveling and saw this brown sign to Hampton Plantation. And I was like, okay, I can number 1 check, because we're trying to get all the parks, right? So I'll check that one off the list. And this poem, and I'll read the 2 and then that other one is, and close with the poem for Julian. Sorry. It is they're sitting right beside each other. Okay, yes. So I will sing. I do not want to be judged. Okay. And you know, I was the loudest one going as Emöke was reading, because we come from a call and response culture, and I sometimes forget that I'm just that and who I am. No apologies, but that's who I am. So on this grounds, there is a sign to the plantation, and then there's a sign to the enslaved community. Which way do you think I went? You know, right? But when I went over there to sit, the foundation of one of the cabins was still there, and I sat in this beautiful green opening expanse, and the trees were around. And this is the song that came to me. It's called Poem and Song, Come to Me. And you guys have to work for this too, because you got to sing, right? So it's repetition, like a lot of African-American spirituals. They were written that way for the illiterate, so you could jump in. So this one goes, Spirit, oh Spirit, come to me, come to me. Spirit, oh Spirit, come to me, come to me. Spirit, oh Spirit, Spirit, oh Spirit, Spirit, oh Spirit. Wind, oh wind, come to me. Wind, oh wind, come to me. Now it's wind, oh wind, come to me. Wind, oh wind, wind, oh wind, come to me. Got it now? Okay, we got a couple. Okay. Water, oh water, come to me. Water, oh water, come to me. Water, oh water, Water, oh water, water, oh water, come to me. Blessings, oh blessings to me. Blessings, oh blessings, come to me, come to me. Blessings, oh blessings, blessings, oh blessings, blessings, oh blessings, come to me. Last one. Love, oh love, come to me, come to me. Love, oh love, come to me, come to me. Love, oh love, love, oh love, love, oh love, come to me, come to me. Chorus on the grounds. They not only spoke, but sang a song of welcome, told me to sit a spell. They flung their arms wide, took me in. They knew I would listen to their stories from across the divide. They had plenty to say. They spoke to me. The wind blew through the trees and sounded like an ocean of voices. I went left instead of right to where the enslaved lived, not to the place where the gift of time and ownership grants possibilities. I could see how he could write plenty of pastoral poems here. The sweeping expanse of the lawn, the lay of the road, the tree-lined entryway. There should have been some common ground. He, a man of words, Archibald Rutledge, the first poet laureate of South Carolina. To me, a woman of words, the first poet laureate of Greenville, South Carolina. But I heard none, not one simple syllable. And I will close with this poem. Yeah, I want to go there and read on the grounds, and I will read where the song came to me. And this is to close the book. This poem is called Dear Grandson. People are sending me messages that they're viral. Hey, Linda. Hey, viral community. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out. I hope you were singing. This poem is for my dear grandson, Julian, which the book is dedicated to him and my other two grandchildren, Paisley and Quinn. Julian has renamed himself. He's actually Sidon. So that was his commentary in the book. Why didn't you call me Sidon in the book? But here's the poem I wrote to him. And I'll close on this note. Dear grandson, always remember to go outside, look up to catch the light. No matter the color of the sky, remember to let the gift of the day pour into you. Julian, always strive for the light and know you are the light and that your light makes me lighter. You make the whole world brighter. You make me smile more often and laugh heartier. When I look at life through your eyes, I see possibilities. You help the world turn round. We are a circle of endings and beginnings between the both of us and life-giving trees. I hand you gold, you hand me green with your small hand in mine. Together we hear what the leaves whisper in conversation with the wind. Julian, please know our getaways are not leavings, but arrivals. A chance to look into the still pond of ourselves, a necessary remembering. I take you here for you to find that nature is as necessary as breath. A prescription I write for you, from my heart to yours. I will always draw you a map of how to retreat, how to take the wild in as often as possible, to read the lessons written on each and every leaf, upon each ripple of the lake, in every bird call, in every trail of ants. There, if you look, you will be able to read how life flows. Julian, I want you to know every wonder belongs to you. though some will say to you otherwise. Go anyhow. Your passage has already been paid. Be an ultimate outsider wherever you go. It's up to you to forge on. Remember, it's the destination and the journey. Remember our rain prayers. Remember, even when I have turned to nothing but air and carried away by a strong gale, know I will be there with you, out in the green and gold meadows, in the gloaming. My hand will be in yours. I will be singing as everything sings to you. Grandson, listen with your whole self, and with your whole self, sing back.
One more time. Yeah. You feel the, oh, look at, all right.
Okay.
See, we're feeling it, Glenis. We got it.
The
Emöke
vibe is
B'Rácz.
on.
All right, we got it. Do we have a leading question? Who wants to be the point of the spear this evening?
No, I'm my liking.
I
War.
Getting warmed up, getting
War
limbered
analogy.
up. Okay, yes, please. And I'm going to repeat it for the virtual audience so that they can hear it. So I do reserve the right to paraphrase.
How old were you and your sister when you came over on the boat? I
15.
want to read that poem about 100 times. My
Mm.
grandfather came across and grandmother came across from Sweden, and I'm picturing that, and I want to know how old the two of you
I
were.
was 15.
So the question was for the virtual audience. The virtual audience can't hear that.
Oh.
So
Okay.
so virtual audience, the question was, how old was Emöke when she came over, right? Emöke.
I was 15.
How old was your sister?
And how old was her sister?
17 and a half.
Very
So this is like call and response, okay? You see, Glenis got us into that, so it's a call and response, just roll with it. Is there a question from the virtual audience, Stephanie? No one yet? Okay.
So both of you have poems, I think, that deal with how nature can lead us to transcendent experiences, like transcendent poetry, which I really enjoy. It's inspiring. You were speaking about how you often deal with heavy issues, but that these transcendent poems are more possible because of this project. So if either of you want to comment on those types of poems, I'd be interested.
I'm going to take the mic here. The question is, paraphrasing, is about the transcendent poems and this subject that both Emöke and Glenis have addressed, and in poems about nature. Would you like to expand more on that? Is that what you'd like them to do?
Sure.
Okay, sure.
Well, I grew up on a farm, so that was always part of my days of bugs and trees and all that stuff. So I think it's part of me as much as you allow yourself to be part of nature and take it with you, which I'm glad to do.
I did not grow up on a farm, but my parents were sharecroppers. So I'm one generation removed from sharecropping and a few generations removed from slavery. But I found that when I went to Warren Wilson, and I graduated pretty late in life with my MFA in 2011, I was still living here. And my advisor asked me to write a pastoral poem, which is, about the bucolic aspects of nature. And for the life of me, I could not. And I did not understand that until somebody was asking me about one of my fears. And one of my fears, everybody were like, we were all going around, they're like bugs, spiders, snakes, and I said trees. And everybody gasped. They're like, trees? How could you be haunted by trees? Well, to ask an African-American person how they could be haunted by trees. So I ended up writing an essay for those who didn't know. And so I've been writing a lot about the land and what my parents went through and what my ancestors, but this book in particular allowed me to not just look at the past, it allowed me to look at the future with my grandson. And so it also, trying to get my health back, I knew nature had many, many answers. And I was always that kid that was up a tree or staring at the clouds. So I was always one in nature. So this book really brought me back to the roots of writing about what's around me and also wanting to be a guide for my grandson, that he will take note and notice what's around him. But that one line of the first poem I wrote, I was already taking note when I was a young girl.
Yeah, thank you. What's the essay called?
The essay is called What Hangs on Trees.
So the question was,
I know, right?
what's that essay called? And the answer was,
What hangs on trees? And you can find it online on Orion magazine. And then there's another one, I think it's called Field Work, if I'm not mistaken. That's through Orion magazine.
Yes.
I'm just curious, so both of you, why poetry?
The question was, for both our guests, why poetry?
Because that's what comes.
I mean, I echo that too. I mean, I am a poet first, so poems just surround me. It's just whether I'm going to write them down or not. But my first language, I believe, my first language is dance, and then poetry, and then English. And so I always think, and I'm a tad dyslexic, so I really found that out in my graduate program when I had to write these essays, but it really pushed me against an uncomfortable edge, and I came out just writing essays after essays. But the essays are very lyrical. They're really poems, and they're just elongated poems. And so I have a book of essays I'm trying to find an agent for it, and it's called Field Work as well, because the field work in the field, and also field work as a teaching artist, we call it going in the field. So I feel like I'm still in the field.
I just want to add to that they made me write newsletter articles for the store for years. And I could take every sentence of that article and made it into a poem or anybody else's.
Yes.
I mean, it is how it comes, how it is visible,
Yes.
how it encompasses everything.
I concur.
Oh, good.
But I'm just saying that it's emotional, like a poem, like you said, it just resonates emotionally. And I prefer to write a poem and I wish in school, my teachers would have given me that option instead of writing papers to write creatively.
Yeah.
It would have changed my whole life, but nobody was thinking about dyslexia and all that stuff back then.
Nobody was thinking.
Very droll, Emöke, very droll. So we are wrapping up now, so you'll get to ask if you have other burning questions or just tingling questions, then you can speak to Glenis or Emöke, because they have signed the books. They're ready to, Emöke's dancing, see, you know, loosen up now. All right.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. South Central does it like nobody does.
That's right.
That made it out into YouTube. That's right. What happened? Glenis, that was Glenis Redmond channeling Glenis. Sorry. On that note, we'll kind of note.
Yes,
Thank you all.